Dilip has requested me to speak a few minutes on Sikhism. So, who are Sikhs? The first question everybody asks. A person wearing a turban, person with different colored clothes, pop-in clothes. Are they hippies in the 60s? You never know. With a beard, with a mustache, flowing beard, they don't trim them, they are dirty. You don't know who are they. Could you help me with the next one, please?
Yes,
yeah.
enter.
Any space here.
Okay.
So the first question is Sikhism a sect of Islam, Hinduism, blend, or independent? Anyone?
D.
C.
Yeah, it's okay. It's actually D. Sikhism is an independent religion. We basically came from C. Actually, B. Our origin was from Hinduism, but later on in the 14th century, 15th century, things got separated because of our behavior, the way we preach God. Things got separate. So we began from Hinduism, but then we had our independent religion. That was in 1699. That's when we formed Sikhism. So Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world, over 25 million people, yet we do not know who Sikhs are. So that I think is kind of not a very proud moment, maybe for us, because we haven't been able to preach who we are. Everybody knows Christianity, Islam, Hinduism. People know Judaism, even though it's on the 6th place, 7 million difference. But why? Being the 5th person, 5th in the largest religion in the world, nobody knows about us. Maybe I think it's our problem, because we haven't been able to teach people what Sikhism is. So I'll try my best, how much I can deliver. So our history, we actually originated in a small state of Punjab. That's actually in India, northern part of India. And that was in 1469. That was the birth of Guru Nanak. He is the first Guru of the Sikhs. He was born in a Hindu family, like I said. His parents were Hindus. They followed all the religions, the customs, the cultures, the faith, festivals, traditions of the Hindus, because he was basically Hindu. They had all the month threads that Hindu used to wear, believe he knows. But when he was growing up, he saw these things do not actually help you to find God. The thread you wear, the festivals Hindus perform, or the cultural programs they have, they do not actually lead you to go to God. They're actually just a distraction. So from his early age onwards, he had a different thinking. That's when he started meditating on his own. And then by age, he got married, and then kids and everything, that's a different story. And then he had his disciples. His first disciple was actually his sister. His parents did not believe him, nor his mother, nor his father, uncle, aunt, patron, nobody ever believed him, that because he spoke in such a different way that normal person would not understand. That's because he spoke of God, which was never heard of. Hinduism, Islam, they were prevalent at that time. Islam said, okay, do this. Hindu said, do this, but normal people, they were not able to get or reach God. So I hope that reach God is the correct word I'm using it. So he tried to preach people by age of 20, 22. And that way itself, he started a different meditation techniques. So nobody was actually listening to him. Eventually people followed, and then it became a religion. And then we had 10 gurus overall. And they founded the scriptures. Scriptures is actually a combination of verses, or you could say poems, that all the 10 gurus have written and sung by themselves. And it also includes verses from Hindus, Muslims, or Sikhs. Not back then they were not called Sikhs, because they were still part of Hinduism. We did not have an independent religion back then. So we have in the Guru Granth Sahib, that's what is the scripture, holy scripture, we call it the Guru Granth Sahib. We have all these verses from Muslims, Hindus, the lower caste people, as they would call it. Sikhism does not believe in low caste, high caste. Sikhism is a religion that preaches equality, not just on base of gender. caste, you are not a low worker, you are not a high class, elite, nothing. You are all equal, which we will see in the later on coming states. So, as I said, the founder on the teachings of 10 gurus, the Guru Granth Sahib Ji is currently the sacred book of the Sikhs. So these books contain teachings of the Guru and guides of the Sikhs. And when we say Sikhs, it means people like us who were actually following the Gurus. We said something good, they put in there. It's just not that. What Guru said, it has to be in there. When somebody says, okay, I said something good, this has to be like that. Okay, I think that is correct. They put it in there. Why? Because that was correct in that sense, and that would help you to believe in God, or to get God, or for you to be able to reach God. Next, please. Then how do you? Oh, that's fine. So the next one is Sikh values. What are Sikh values? One God. We are a monotheistic religion. Equality, respect for all, gender, religion, race, no difference. And that is the reason we have the poems, the verses in the Guru Granth Sahib from Islam. Hinduism, Christianity and Judaism were not popular in India, otherwise we would have taken that too. So from low caste people, high caste people, they did not say no, we are not going to put those. This is good. We will put it in there and then live and earn honestly. Do your hard work, never cheat anybody, never lie to anybody, speak truth. That should be the main motive, main focus of your life. That is the only reason, that is the only way you can get God. That's what he said. Not by learning, not by reading scriptures, you cannot get God. If you want to get God, if you want to find Him, you have to live and earn honesty. That is the only one way. That's what we call humanity in today's days. People say, be humanity, do humanity. Well, humanity, this is humanity. Next one is service to humanity. That's what it is. Same thing. You have to serve the humanity. You are living in your life. You're working for yourself. What good are you to your neighbor? What good are you to your parents, your grandparents, your children? It's not just about myself. We have to help our neighbors, help our community. Not just community, help other communities as well. Flourish them. If somebody, I am rich enough, my neighbor is not, I will help him. It's my duty, social duty, to help the people who is not flourished enough. That's what it said. And social justice, it has to be clear. There is no ifs and buts in Sikhism. That's what the true morals, true status is. You have to be justice to everybody. You don't say, okay, he is the king. He can say whatever he wants and I will believe it. Oh my God, no, that's not going to happen. Right? You have to do justice. Being the king, you have to do justice to the lower caste and to your status. And if you're in the middle, you have to do justice to the king and you have to do justice to the lowest people. Next please. The Sikh identity. The turbans and the flowing beard and the mustache, they are actually our identity. That's how people see us. That's how people know us. But in recent years, we have been mistaken with the Muslims. The most famous Osama bin Laden, when they showed his picture on the TV after the 9/11, okay, they are Sikhs and so many things happen. But why? Because they do not know the difference. They have the same kind of turban, but a bit smaller. Sikhism, the turban that everybody wears, normally is like 15 feet on an average. That's like 7 meters or yeah, some wear 7, some wear 6. So that's the different style of turban. And living by the code of conduct. That's again, you have to follow the rule that's written in the Sikh book, the sacred book, the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It says, if you are living by this rule, this is good. And what is that rule? Live and work honestly. Social justice to people. Equality. If you don't do this, your life is worthless. And if you're doing that, even if you're not a millionaire, you're still a billionaire. That's what it is. Having ultimate allegiance to the Sikh way of life. There is no exceptions. No exceptions. If you want to live good, that is the only way. Next, please. No, I'm sorry, with the previous one, a Sikh doesn't always have to wear a turban. The turban, beard, they are part of our identity, but not everybody in today's modernized society wears a turban because they say you don't want to do, we are yet learning. The word Sikh means learner. So we are learning throughout our life. When you see a Sikh is not wearing a turban, don't ask him, you're not a Sikh, you're not wearing a turban. That's because he is still learning. He is still learning the way of life, the way of the gurus they want him to be. So eventually, maybe in a year, 2, 5, he will get his turban. And this is actually a practice back in India. People usually cut their hairs when they are 20ish. In their 20s, then they want to lead that life. When they get to their 50s, they actually start wearing a turban. This has been a practice all over India, in the northern part of India. This is a regular practice, so that's why some people, even in the States, they don't wear turban at this point. They are clean shaved, just like everybody, mixed up in people. But later on in the life, in their 45s, 50s, they start wearing turban. Because then they think, okay, I should get back to religion now. It's time. It's the end of life. We should get there. Articles of faith. So in Sikhism, we have 5 Ks. 1, 2, actually not 5 Ks because in our language, these all things, they start with the same letter K. It's different English, but when we go to the Punjabi language, K, Kara, Kanga, Kashara, Kirpan. So Kesh is uncut hairs. You're not supposed to cut your hairs. A Sikh is not supposed to cut his hairs. According to the religious book, according to the teachings of the gurus, it has to be long, natural. That's what they emphasize on. Long, not cutting and then not combing, that's not acceptable. You have to be natural. And then the other one, Kara, is an iron bracelet. It is a significant, it remembers you to do good deeds. It's one on the arm, actually. It's one on the arm. So it remembers when you're trying to do something bad. Oh, no. It tries to remember you that you should do only good deeds when you're trying to do something bad. It's a remembrance. The next one is a calm. It's called Kanga. That wants you to remain clean. The importance of that, the significant, what it signifies is you should remain clean. It is actually meant to be worn in your hair. It's actually miniature. It's this size. So it is actually meant to be worn in your hairs all the time. So wherever you are, no matter you are going to your guest or your, you don't have your stuff with you, you still have it from your ear, do it every time. Well, why this is so prevalent? Because back in the days, you would travel, right? You wouldn't have such amenities everywhere. So they carry with them, no matter today they are at point A, they can still stay clean. Tomorrow they're at point C, they can still stay clean. Why? Because they have their stuff with them always. And it's not big, it's just this small. 2 inches or maybe 3 inches, depends on size. And the next one is kirpan. It's actually a small dagger, small sword, maybe like 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches. It depends on your capability, how much you want to wear. And that signifies protection for you, for your neighbors, everybody else. Why that became prevalent? Because back in the ages, it was needed. There were bandits everywhere. You used to travel. You never know what came with them. So your protection was in your hands. And still today, people wear these. But we know it's happening. People say you shouldn't wear this, you shouldn't wear that. It's America, you pass through borders, this and that. Why? Because we have had cases. If somebody had their protection with them, they will use it for their protection, which is actually a good thing. Why do people buy guns? A legitimate person would buy a gun only if he needs one. So a legitimate person would wear this only if he needs one and would use it when he has to, not to show off. And the next one is the underpants. It's called kashara, and that is self-discipline. Control your sex desire. Sex in America, North America, South America is very prevalent. But back in India, it is actually it's meant for you and for your wife, between your husband and wife. So it's not in third person. So that's why they have this underpants, just to remember you. Self-discipline is a way of life. So these 5 things: uncut hairs, the iron bracelet, comb, underpants, and kirpan, they are meant to remember you for daily life. Uncut hair, be natural. Comb, be clean. Kashara, the underpants, self-discipline. Kirpan for your protection. And the iron bracelet for you to remember good deeds. Do good deeds always, please. The star, the turban. 99% of the people in the states that you see are Sikhs. The 1% are Muslims, they wear turbans. And I think some Jews also. I think I have seen some of them, they do wear turbans. So the 99% of people are actually Sikh. And they could be anyway. It could be that color, it could be white. Now this white matches the one with Osama bin Laden, but he's not a Sikh. That is what we have to know. It means a Sikh always has to be recognized and are on duty bound to offer help. That is his identity. Standing in 1,000 people, you can say he is a Sikh. But if you're sitting in a group of 15 people, nobody can say he's a Sikh if he's not wearing turban. It's his identity. And that's to protect your hairs, your long-grown natural hairs. Because you can't be leaving it open all the time. You trim it. No. You tie it up, hold it up on your head, and you tie a turban, and that signifies your identity. You know, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Guru, actually gave us the turban, he said, my Sikh will be identified from millions of people. He will be the only one in a million, but he will be still identified far away. Why? Because he will have a distinct look. And what is that? A beard and a turban. Most people do not have those. That's why they signify on the turban. You should look different. It's okay to look different. Why mingle in the group when you're meant to be different actually? And one thing, no under circumstance can the turban be removed forcibly. We have had cases in the recent years, it was actually after 2008 or 2009, we had cases in England, Canada, and even in the United States, where the Sikhs were actually forced to remove their turbans just to show that they are not terrorists and to show that they are actually not carrying anything in their turbans. Well, what are your standards good for them if you can't sense that? It was just a way to see that we are not supportive of you. But a Sikh can never be forced to remove a turban forcibly, because that is his law, that is his religion. You can't force somebody to get off your religion. Please. Different types of turban. The first one, the second one is basically for kids. They can't tie the big one. And then actually women also wear turban. They wear a simple one rather than being a stylish one, a pointy one. And then different type of styles. The last one is actually the most prevalent one. The last white, if you see. It's actually the most prevalent one, the pointy look up front. Next please. Gurudwara, the place of prayer, service, and learning. So in the center, if you see here, this is actually the place where Guru Granth Sahib Ji is kept, the holy sacred book. It is kept in this shrine, and then the people outside, they're offering service. And these people, ladies on the one side, men on the other side, sitting and listening to the prayers that are being sung in a poetic manner. They actually don't read it, they actually sing it, because they're verses, they're poems. And poems have a flow. Everything in there has a flow. People actually sing it, and everybody sitting actually listens to them. And then occasionally, it depends on the area. In India, it is actually every day. In the United States, America, Canada, they offer weekend services, because busy schedule and everything. So they have vegan services, people actually go, and after the prayers are being sung, they are sung already, there is one person who is very knowledgeable. He goes on the one side of the stage, and he actually teaches you the meanings from the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Not everybody can understand Shakespeare. Not everybody can understand all those hi-fi language. So even same with here, not everybody can understand. They can read, but it's actually tough to decode what's in there. So there are people who actually specialize. And not by specialize, it's a degree. Everybody can do it. Anybody can. Maybe tomorrow, so you want to say, I want to learn Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Can I? Go ahead. Sure. Everybody can. And so these people are actually been reading it for a long time. They're knowledgeable. They're actually preachers. So they teach you what's in the Guru Granth Sahib Ji in simplest form. This is that place where you learn. And then everybody's welcome. Muslims, Hindus, Jews, Christians, no matter what. Everybody is welcome. Just one condition, please cover your head. That's it. No exclusions, no exceptions. Everybody is welcome. Services in America typically held on weekends because of busy schedule here. That's not false. It's actually langar, Langar. So langar is a meal served at every gurudwara throughout the world. It's a free meal. Everybody who goes to the gurudwara has a free meal whenever they want to come back, before, after, whenever they want. And it's free, served by volunteers, prepared by volunteers. No paid person is actually working there. I go to the gurudwara, I go to the kitchen and I prepare food, of course following all the rules and manners of the kitchen. I go prepare and then somebody else comes, I serve him. I'm not working there, I'm a volunteer. Served by volunteers, made by volunteers in the simplest form. Only one condition, you should be ready to eat a vegetarian meal. Sikhs are not allowed to eat meat, and that includes egg, meat, chicken, and everything, and fish. So simple vegetarian meal. Sikhs are only allowed to have vegetarian meal. That's back then it used to be that it's forbidden, but now it's scientific. We all know why vegetarian meal is important to our health. We don't have to prove it. This is actually the right concept that Sikhs have been following since 1699. 1699 was the year when Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Guru of Sikhs, actually gave us this identity. This identity, I mean turban and the beard, and the kashara and the iron bracelet, long hairs and the kirpan, the sword, and the comb. That's when he gave us the identity. That day he told us, you should follow this rule of conduct, you will get a simple living. And that's the reason we do vegetarian meals in there, and everybody's welcome, no matter what. The doors are open to everybody 24/7. It never closes. The Guru Granth Sahib. Maybe yes, sometimes preachers are not available there, but the Gurudwara is still open. You can go, sit, meditate, have food. Yes, come back 24/7. And everybody sits together on the floor to share the food in the spirit of equality. No matter Donald Trump goes, Obama goes, or I go, we will still sit in the same line and be served by the same person. If I'm sitting first, they will serve me first, then go to Donald Trump and Obama, not Donald Trump and then come back to me. Who is first? They will actually serve first. All equality. That is one of the major points of Sikhism that is actually, I would say, the point that attracts everybody. The person who knows about Sikhism, this is one point, if you had to say that what is good about Sikhism, equality. Women, men, children, low caste, high caste, doesn't matter. You are all one. You are all one. God is one, you people are one. Next please. The language we use is Punjabi. 80 plus million people speak Punjabi, including Sikhs living in the US. That is actually a hello in Punjabi. Hello. So that is the H, and then on there are pronunciations, and that's the last letter is La, double L. This is L and this is H. Others are just E and O on top. So that's the language 80 million people speak this one. And you might have heard that people say, I am Punjabi. Some of you, instead of hearing I am Sikh, some people say I am Punjabi. So Sikh and Punjabi are two different things. Punjabi is a culture. Sikh is a religion. Who is a person who is a Sikh may not always be a Punjabi, because some people actually from after the partition 1947 back in India, people actually went to Fiji. We have a couple of Sikhs, actually a large amount of Sikhs originating from Fiji, and then a couple of people settled down here. The people who are here, they are actually not Punjabis. Because they are Americans. They do not follow the Punjabi culture. Punjabi culture is prevalent in England, in India. But the people who are newly come from India, they still follow those traditions. So Punjabi is actually a culture. When people say, I'm a Punjabi, he may not necessarily be a Sikh. And when they say, I'm a Sikh, he may not necessarily be a Punjabi. He might be from Fiji. He might be from Pakistan. Because 1947 partition, India and Pakistan were together in one place. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, all this was actually one big area back in the days. And so after the partition, 1947, India and partition in separate countries, a large part of Punjab, that is the region where Sikhism was formed, was actually left in Punjab. And what Sikhs are in India actually has a smaller part of Punjab. The major portion of the Punjab area actually went to Pakistan. So people in Pakistan also are Punjabis, but they may not necessarily be Sikhs because they are Muslims. So there are two actually different things. Punjabi is a culture, Sikh is a religion. And so this is the language we speak Punjabi. Please. Everyday Sikhs, we have artists, US Army, police, we are flooded with Sikhs, basketball players, and then actors and models, scientists. Father of fiber optics was actually a Sikh. We are using the internet, thanks to this guy, he founded the fiber opticals, the small wires that we use through now. So we are actually pretty good, I must say, right? Police officers, please. Politicians, Canada is flooded with Punjab Sikh politicians. America, we're still gaining power. Lawyers, farmers, filmmakers, doctors, pilots. So the farmers, majority of the farming area in California, the east coast of the United States, majority of the farming land is owned by Sikhs. Because we have been in the States for over a century. And people who have been over here over a century, their families, they well settled, they acquired land. Because back in India, farming is the main occupation of the Sikh people, of the Punjabi people, Punjabi culture. Because India is actually a farming state. So that is what our roots go to. When people came here about a century ago, they started the same thing here. So today also the majority of the land, farming land owned in East Coast is owned by the Sikhs. Filmmakers, doctors, pilots. Well, thank you everybody for listening. This presentation was actually created by Sikh Coalition. It is actually a group that originates from New York, and they do a lot of Sikh motivational speeches. They do presentations to the public. This actually was created to educate elementary school kids in New York's west coast, actually, just so that they could be educated what Sikhs are. So this actually was created by sikhcoalition.org, and thank you everybody for listening.
Are there any questions? Yes. Gurpreet? Yeah.
Yes.
I was at a basketball gathering of high school kids, and there were two young boys that were playing basketball that had turbans with the little knot on top. Why?
That's actually hairs. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's their hair.
That's hairs.
But there was something over top of their hair.
Yes, ma'am. So
But that's not considered a turban?
it is considered a turban.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it's a smaller turban because
Yeah.
the kids, they cannot afford to wear a bigger one, so they do a smaller one. And it's easier to wear. And when you call it, I know it's actually a confusion, it's not your fault. When you say the nut, it looks like one. Because they have long hairs, they tie it up in a bun, and then the cloth they have is a circle around the bun, so that's why it looks like a nut to you. That's actually hairs tied in a turban.
Wow. Thank you.
I have a question. So are there different kinds of Sikhs? Like there's, so many sects of Christianity and Islam and Judaism. How about for the Sikh religion?
Yes, actually there are a few. Well, I didn't go
And what are
into
the
the
differences?
majority is the same. The principles, the values, the scriptures, everything is the same. It's just that some believe we can eat meat. That's actually a very small portion of the Sikhs, those who believe that we can eat meat. And then the other one, I'm actually a part of that group who believe that a guru, a head, is always physical body. Person who is actually preaching you is always a physical body. I'm actually part of that group. That means, so after what happens is the history goes, Guru Nanak was the first founder, and then Guru Gobind Singh Ji is the 10th Guru of Sikhs. So he asked one of his disciples to actually compile the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. That's the Holy Scripture, that's all the verses from all the saints and people and the gurus. So they compiled it into one book. That book is 1,328 pages. And that's considered as a Holy Scripture, and that is the living Guru of Sikhs. Majority, I would say 90% of the people fall into that category. 90%. They believe that the book is actually their spiritual leader, which is, of course, totally fine. But I fall into a little bit of different category that says a guru, a leader, is always physical. So these are the main, actually, two broad branches, I would say, distinctions. 90% believe that it's book, that's the holiest thing, and it is actually your leader. But we believe that it's actually physical body. These are the two main differences, I would say.
So it's okay.
I hope that clears everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's okay. This is everything you want to know about Sikhism, but we're afraid to ask. Is it okay if I ask a question that might be frivolous? There was a movie, I think it was Topaki, and it was about the theft of a dagger, and it's actually in a museum, I think in Istanbul. And so when I actually saw it, I was so disappointed that it was so small, and someone said, "Oh, it's a Sikh dagger." Do you know what I'm referring to? And can you verify that?
Actually, I got your concept, but actually I cannot relate because I have not heard of that, very frankly. But I get your concept. That dagger, like you say, very small, is the one they used to actually carry with them, like we once showed here, that you're supposed to carry for your protection, for others' protection with you, because that's part of your identity. So it might be that, it might not be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question about pronunciation? The religion is the Sikh religion, and you are a Sikh?
It's actually Sikh. Sikh. Smaller.
The religion is
Sikh.
Sikh.
Yes.
Sikh.
We say it as Sikh, as it S-E-E-K-H.
Yes.
That's what normally people pronounce, but it actually is
Sikh.
Sikh.
Yeah.
So we don't have to extend it.
Okay, so the religion is Sikh,
Yes.
and you are a
Sikh.
Sikh.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, it's okay. When you see somebody out there, we are sometimes afraid to ask people, okay, oh my God, if I ask him, is he going to be mad at me? No, it's okay. You don't know what you don't know. It's possible people don't know certain things. Just go ahead, ask them. I actually grew up in Dubai, a Muslim country, and I came here 3 years ago. And when I came here, I had so many problems. I started working at 7-Eleven, and then these guys always most of these guys were South American people. They said, "Oh, there is actually a Muslim rally going on in New York. Are you going there?" So I was like, I'm sorry, I don't relate to that. It's like, why? You are a Muslim and you're supposed to go to a Muslim rally because Trump had put that ban on 7 countries. So you should go. It's like, why would I? Because you're a Muslim. I said, no, sir, it's not like that. I'm not a Muslim. And then we explained. Initially, when I came here, I used to get mad. Like, come on, guys, you are in America and you don't know. But when I saw the majority of the people, it's okay. These people don't know nothing. I mean, technology-wise, okay, yes, you get points. But learning about other people, these guys in San Francisco, because that's where I live, these guys did not know nothing. They believed what the TV showed them. So
Thank
it's
you.
okay.
We need to go on with our agenda, but thank you so much.